With 21 games and no signs of stopping soon, Call of Duty has proven itself as the Simpsons of gaming. And just like the Simpsons, Call of Duty has had its fair share of ups and downs. Very deep downs. For the series running as long as it has, it's gone through what I think is 4 major eras. So today, I want to go over those eras and give a brief history of the series. Without any more yapping, let's get into it. The first Call of Duty era is the Classic era. The first era of Call of Duty consists of Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3. This is probably my least played era, and probably a lot of yours too, considering it was a little before my time. But obviously, since these were the first games in the series, they didn't have many of the features that have become staples in Call of Duty, but they laid a lot of the groundwork of what was to come. And the games in this era were mostly focused on campaign, and although they did have multiplayer, it was mostly pushed to the side in favor of the campaign. It was not nearly as prominent as what we would see in the future. Something that surprisingly did come from this era was DLC. The first DLC map packs came from Call of Duty 2. This is something that would become a mainstay in the series all the way up until Modern Warfare 2019. Although it's not something that I would think that would come from this era, it is funny that Activision was showing its teeth all the way back then. The next era I want to talk about is the Golden Era.
Yeah, shut your bitch ass up before he beat your ass.
This era consists of Modern Warfare, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 2. This was Call of Duty at its absolute peak in terms of quality and popularity. In my opinion, this is the best era, and I might be a little bit biased since this is the era I grew up playing with, but every game in here, it was just a home run after home run. These games introduced most of the features that we know Call of Duty for today. Modern Warfare alone introduced classes, perks, leveling, hardcore, kill streaks, clan tags, and prestiging. Modern Warfare 2 introduced calling cards and emblems, and Black Ops 1 introduced the emblem editor, RIP. And of course, World at War introduced zombies. Although a little bare bones at first, this mode would become one of the biggest selling points of Call of Duty, with some people only buying the games for zombies. This era also exploded Call of Duty into the mainstream, with the rise of gaming YouTubers making montages, commentaries, and other kinds of videos, which turned Call of Duty into the juggernaut that it is today. Multiplayer was pushed more to the forefront, with campaign still being huge, but we definitely start to see multiplayer take over the campaign. With multiplayer gaining popularity, it was only a matter of time before the competitive scene started to form.
He's pulling his cock out!
With MLG becoming hugely associated with Call of Duty at this time, and organizations like FaZe and Optic launching, bringing Call of Duty to new heights. Modern Warfare also brought the games into a more modern setting as opposed to the previous game's World War II setting, which really helped to set it apart from the previous games and give it a fresh new look. Unfortunately though, Black Ops 2 saw the introduction of DLC camos, and although the microtransactions weren't too bad in this game, we would see how bad it would get in the years to come. The next era is what I like to call the Dark Era.
Oh no.
This era consists of Call of Duty Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, World War II, and Black Ops 4. If the Golden Era was Call of Duty at its absolute peak, then this was Call of Duty at its absolute lowest. Although the games were still selling well, it was clear that the formula was getting stale and fans were starting to turn on the series. Even if you like some or all the games in this era, there's no denying that most of the games were not well received at all and really turned the tide on the public's reception of Call of Duty. Most of the games in this era took on a more futuristic setting, which was a big turnoff for a lot of people who liked a more boots on ground experience. And it kinda alienated the core audience of the older games. And although Black Ops 2 technically was the first game to be set in the future, it was still modern enough that fans didn't care, being set only 13 years in the future, which is...
Where do the years go?
Another thing that plagued this era were the rampant microtransactions, because Advanced Warfare introduced supply drops, aka loot boxes, aka gambling. Yeah, this is where Activision really showed their true colors, and that color being green. Because not only were you paying for maps and camos, but now you're paying for actual weapons to be used in-game. This was just the era of gaming in general where developers realized they could charge anything they want for anything in the game.
That a young buck like you could actually do the right thing and avoid getting his sorry
I had a
butt kicked
teammate
out the
hold me
game.
back. He told me to chill.
But I think Call of Duty really did it the worst. Another thing you really saw in this era was multiplayer completely taking over campaign. Campaign was pretty much an afterthought at this point, with Black Ops 4 not even having one. Multiplayer was way more profitable, so they stopped putting any effort into the campaign. The biggest offender of all these traits was definitely Infinite Warfare, which went down as one of the most hated CODs of all time. And the reveal trailer is still one of the most disliked videos on YouTube. This game took the futuristic setting to the absolute max and fans hated it, leading Activision to course correct and completely changing COD for the next era, which is the Revival era. This era includes Modern Warfare, Black Ops Cold War, Vanguard, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 6, and of course, this era saw a return to form for the series. With the release of Modern Warfare 2019, it brought the games back to a modern setting, and like the older games, this saw the developers actually putting effort into the campaign again. This breathed new life into the series and brought back a lot of old fans. The games in this era also completely ditched the pay-to-win mechanics of the previous era in favor of cosmetics. Just like every other game at the time, Call of Duty became heavily inspired by Fortnite. Wait, scratch that. They became heavily inspired by Fortnite's money. This led to the implementation of battle passes and skins. Lots and lots of skins. And speaking of Fortnite, you cannot talk about this era without mentioning Warzone. Call of Duty's first attempt at a battle royale was Blackout and Black Ops 4, but they made the mistake of putting Blackout behind a paywall, which led to not that many people playing it. So when Warzone came out, it was completely free and completely separate from the main game. With Warzone's massive success, we started seeing multiplayer be pushed to the background in favor of the Battle Royale, because the freshness that Modern Warfare 2019 brought to the series started to become stale as the developers stopped really caring about multiplayer and all the games started to feel the same. Say what you want about the Dark Era games, but at least those were all unique from each other. But the games now are just nostalgia pandering.
Remember Ghostbusters? Oh, I remember.
And even I have a hard time differentiating them from each other, because even Omni Movement can't save Call of Duty from its basic formula. With Black Ops 7 on the way, it looks like we'll be in this era for a bit longer. Maybe it'll prove me wrong and actually change things up and move Call of Duty into a new era. I guess we'll see. But what do you think? What's your favorite era of Call of Duty, and what does the next era have in store for the franchise? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, or else I'm going to become a full-time Infinite Warfare streamer.
The fuck?